So the 5th annual Center for Careers in Teaching Advisor Lunch, and we're just thrilled to have you here to learn more about us, learn what's going on with our students. So to start off, I'm Heather Terry. I'm the coordinator of the Center for Careers in Teaching and one of the advisors, and you'll get to meet the rest of my team here shortly. All right. So our agenda today, we are going to introduce you to our team. We have a growing team. We've been, we're bursting at the seams, which is awesome and exciting. So we're going to introduce those folks to you. Today, we're going to go over the teacher pathway. And if you've been to this presentation in the past, we've gotten some feedback that every year it's kind of the same information. So we're doing teacher pathways plus. So a little bit extra information for you that maybe will be that extra that you're looking for. We're going to go over some updates through the Center for Careers in Teaching. We're going to talk about the student programs and services that we offer at the center, and then also some recruitment that we're doing and how you can support our future teachers at Cal State Fullerton. So first of all, without further ado, team members, you can, if you want to stand up and wave or sing a song. We're going to start with our fearless director, Amy Nelson. She's at the back. Jay Wu, who is outside. So Jay Wu is our newest, well, not one of our newest, but she's new this year. She is our administrative assistant, and she is awesome. I mean, I'm so thankful for her to she just comes in. Yes. Then we have Jacqueline Calabrese sitting at the back table. And she is our Titan Future Teachers Coordinator. Lupe Garcia, also sitting at the back table. She is our Men of Color in Education and Recruitment and Retention Coordinator. Lily Quinones, there she is. Yay. Lily is our newest College of Education grad specialist in the College of Ed, and we are so happy to have her join us. Some of you are probably so sad because you don't have her anymore, but we're sorry for you. Happy for us. Jennifer Robles. She is not here with us today. She is she's doing some other presentation. I don't know why we weren't most important, but anyway. And then me. Oh no, I'm sorry, not me. Hooven Tino. Hooven. He's at the back table. He is our new Project Propel coordinator, and we're going to talk a little bit about Project Propel in a little bit, so you'll learn a little bit more about what he does. And then, like I said, I already introduced myself, so moving along. So we're going to start with the teacher preparation pathway. So it's for anyone to teach in the state of California, they must have a bachelor's degree and then go through a teaching credential program to be a teacher. So it certifies someone to teach. It is a post-bachelor program. It's approximately 2 semesters in length. So 1 year. Some start in the fall, some start in the spring. So if it starts in the spring, you finish in the fall. Credential programs include student teaching, that experiential piece, and then it also has a focus on pedagogy, so how to teach. And that's what students are going to get from the credential program, not the content, but how do you teach that content that you already know. So at Cal State Fullerton, we have 3 what we call initial credential programs. There is the multiple subject credential that is for grades TK through grade 8, elementary school, right? So you have to teach multiple subjects if you earn that credential. Single subject credential, which is mostly junior high and high school. However, some of the credentials are K through 8. And we won't get into that, but if you have questions, let us know. But most of the core subjects, English, history, math, science, those are all junior high and high school. Special education program has 3 different pathways, and they are 3 different credential programs. So there's early childhood special education, mild, moderate, and then extensive supports. And so students have to kind of decide which one of those they want to pursue at the beginning of the credential program. They can't fluctuate in the credential program on those special ed programs. And special education covers ages birth through age 22. We do have recommended majors. So the biggest point over here is on the right of that big square. It says there is no required major for a teacher credential program. we all the time have students who get a bachelor's degree in business. You're going to meet one of them later today, who's going to become a teacher and not be necessarily following the business pathway. So any major, and I didn't put this on a slide, but I did kind of I don't know, data. I looked at some data analysis yesterday, and we have seen over 66, and you as our advisors represent over 66 majors within the campus that come to see us, and every single college. We have students from every college, not just HSS and HHD and CODA. Like those are the three that most people think, but it's every single college that we have students coming from. So there are recommended majors for future teachers for multiple subjects. There's child and adolescent studies, liberal studies, and human services. So those are recommended, but they're again not required. So a student can do any pathway and still be an elementary teacher. For a single subject, we recommend that the students choose the major of the subject they want to teach. So you want to teach math major would be ideal, but again, not required. For special education, students are encouraged to fulfill or pursue a major that's going to really connect with the age of the child they want to work with. So CAS has an elementary pathway, they have an adolescent pathway, they have an early childhood pathway. So, that it would be kind of how they would, those suggestions. Now there's other majors on campus that also liberal studies has a pathway. So for special education, so we would, that's another option. So there's those options for those students. And that's what we do in the centers. We help them kind of figure out which one is the best fit for them. So after the majors, we've got our teacher preparation. And that's what we want them doing while they're an undergraduate at Cal State Fullerton. We don't want students to get to their senior year and then come to us and say, I want to be a teacher. And some students do figure out in their senior year, but if they know as a freshman, a sophomore, junior, this is their pathway, there's things that they really should be doing as an undergrad. So number one, basic skills requirement. You've probably heard a lot about this. A lot of people want to call this the CBEST requirement. And so we're going to clarify that a little bit for you, but there's the basic skills requirement. Students might have already met it when they came to, by the time they got to Cal State Fullerton. They might meet it in their freshman year or first year here. Subject matter competency. This is something that's associated with the bachelor's degree, coursework that they're going to be taking while they're here at Cal State Fullerton. And then there are credential prerequisite courses. So anywhere from 4 to 5 classes, depending on the credential program, that all of these need to be taken while they're here. So the basic skills requirement, it acknowledges the ability to understand basic reading, math, and writing. I think loosely, I've heard it stated approximately 6th grade level, right? So up until about 2 years ago, everyone said you have to have the CBEST, you have to have the CBEST. Well, even then, that wasn't true. You have to meet the basic skills requirement in one of 8 ways, okay? The CBEST is one of those ways, but now we can see we have college level coursework that can meet that requirement. So we're finding most students are meeting this by the time they come to us. So we know GE areas A2, A3, and B4, reading, critical thinking, and math. If they have a B- or better, they're done. Now, I'll get to that in the next slide. Let's say they got less than a B- in those 3 areas, there are other classes at Cal State Fullerton that they could take to fulfill the subject matter. So we would be able to let them know which classes we accept and that will fulfill that. So definitely seek guidance. We do have this lovely flyer that kind of helps break it down. It's on our website. I am going to be sending this PowerPoint out along with a recording of today's presentation. So you can reference back to this and you'll have access to the links, or feel free to go to the QR codes. So for satisfying basic skills, they can do it in multiple ways, right? All their GE courses can fulfill it and they're done. Maybe they took math and they got a C every time, and they took it 3 or 4 times and they got a C every time. In that case, we would say, you know what, maybe we should go look at the CBEST exam for math just to fulfill math. So that would be an option. They can fulfill subject matter with their GEs, but then meet it with their math, the reading and writing with their GEs, but the math with their exam scores. So every student's going to look different. So this is why they really should come to us so we can look at that for them and help them determine their best pathway. All right, subject matter competency requirement. This acknowledges their understanding of the subject they plan to teach. So this is showing their competency, right? Again, they're not learning the subject in the credential program. They're going to learn how to teach that subject. So they have to show this, demonstrate it by the time they're applying to the program. We already need to see that they have this information. And there's multiple ways to meet it. So over here on the right-hand side, you'll see the 5 different ways that we have listed out. We have these on our website at that QR code there. And so they can earn a degree in certain subjects or certain majors, sorry. They can complete coursework that addresses each domain of the subject matter. And we detail this all out on our website. So it's pretty clear, but it's still confusing. So come to us so we can explain it. CCT exam is one option. That's the California Subject Examination for Teachers. And it's based on the subject that they want to, the credential that they want to obtain. They can also do a combination of coursework and the CSAT. So a combination of 2 and 3. And then the 5th option is a state-approved subject matter preparation program. So we have a few of those here at Cal State Fullerton. So students are welcome to follow that pathway as well. So the majors that satisfy subject matter requirement, I'm not going to read them off because y'all can see it right there, but there are several majors at Cal State Fullerton. If a student is majoring in that area, they're good. Now, some of the concentrations within those majors might not satisfy. So we do have a full comprehensive list over here on the right-hand side, that QR code. It will be, it will show you what majors and concentrations are approved versus unapproved. And so just to make a point about 2 that are not there, like there's not a credential in history. So a student who's a history major, their major is not going to satisfy subject matter because they need a social science credential to teach history. And we don't have a social science major. But there are alternative pathways, those coursework options. There's some really lovely coursework options along with the subject matter preparation program. And the same is true for kinesiology. Both have a subject matter preparation program, and history has some other course options. All right, so this is exciting information. So if you have a student who is a child and adolescent studies elementary pathway only, there's any of the other concentrations or emphases will not apply to this rule. So only elementary pathway, pre and post 2021 changes, a completion of the courses on the mini course review are going to fulfill that subject matter requirement. So this is an example of that form students will fill out in order to apply to the credential program. And it's all run through our offices. We evaluate, we approve them, and then they include that in their application. So we have our website there to the document, or to the website, not to the document, because when things change, we don't want you to be using an old document. So just always go to our website for the most current documents for anything you're going to share with students, just because they do get little edits and changes along the way. So for special education, all of the options that we discussed, those work for special ed too. So if a student wants to be a special ed teacher in their math major, because math is one of the subjects that is demonstrate subject matter competence, that would get them that fulfillment to get into the credential program or fulfill that requirement. All right, so at this point in time, I'm going to invite Amy up and she will share some more information with you.
Thank you, Heather. So I'm going to go into a little more detail about our prerequisite courses. There are several that students must take depending on which credential they plan to get. The prerequisite courses must have been taken within 7 years of starting the credential program. So we're very careful about how we advise students and not obviously to take the prereqs too soon. If they took them more than 7 years ago, we do have the option to petition if they've been working in an education related position. But after 10 years, if the course is more than 10 years old, they will have to repeat the course because there is a lot of content that changes over time. Our prerequisite courses For our secondary ed program, so the single subject credential and our special ed credentials, many of our prereqs are offered in winter intersession and summer sessions, but currently we do not offer any of our multiple subject prerequisite courses in summer or winter intersession. So just something to note in terms of advising students and planning out their courses. We do have what we call some optional prerequisite courses, meaning if students have room in their schedule, there are a couple of courses in our single subject program and our special ed program that they can take ahead of time, but it is not required. So if they don't, they can still be admitted to the program and just take those courses in the credential or during the credential program. But if they have room, they need elective units, whatever, they can do them sooner if they'd like. And if a student has graduated, they can come back, take courses through Open University, of course. Some of our prerequisites are articulated with local community colleges, not all of them, but a few. Of course, if they take them through Open University is a little more expensive and they don't get financial aid. So we try to, plan it out so they can finish them before they finish their bachelor's degree, if possible. This is a fact sheet that our advisors have put together for students. It's available on our website. It's a really nice 2-page fact sheet with some of just the basic information for students that covers all of, well, not all, but many of our admission requirements. The admission process is very lengthy for the credential programs. Many of that is state requirement that is not, Cal State Fullerton just wants to make it harder for students. These are requirements we have to meet to be accredited with the state. But this is something that we make available on our website. This is a document that our advisors go over with students when they meet for advising sessions. So you're welcome to use it as well. It's kind of just a cheat sheet we use and students really appreciate it. And as Heather mentioned earlier, we keep this up to date. I think, gosh, we change it. It feels like we change it every other day. Something changes in our requirements, but please refer to the website for the most up-to-date version of this document. We ask, you could print it out and save it somewhere, but chances are if you do that, it's going to be out of date the next time you look at it. And since some of our prereqs and things have so many different requirements, we made a handy dandy handout for you, which is actually on your tables. So if you look in if for those of you who are here in person, and for those of you who are online, you're welcome to come by our center and grab some. We'll get some of these out to you. But this is just a handy dandy little flyer you can have on your desk to refer to when you're meeting with students, because there's not just sort of one straightforward grade requirement for our prerequisites. So as Heather mentioned earlier, the courses that meet the basic skills requirement must be completed with a B- or better. This is a state requirement. This has nothing to do with what Cal State Fullerton has decided is appropriate. So it's a B- or better for those courses. The subject matter requirements, any courses used to meet the subject matter requirement have to be completed with a C or better, and pass or credit is also acceptable. The American government requirement, this again is a state requirement. All students have to have a U.S. Constitution requirement in order to get their credential, and the American government or political science 100 course satisfies that, but it must be completed with a C or better. So for our students who are able to use that D, if they received a D for that course and still graduate, they'll be able to graduate, but they won't meet the credential requirements. So they must have a C or better. And then of course, our prerequisite courses must be completed with a C- or better. I think this was an update we shared last year because we did change it I want to say last year, maybe this is new, but this is an update. Our program prereqs were kind of all over the place for each of the credentials. We streamlined it, so now they're all C- or better. So again, you have that flyer there that will help you reference with students when you're meeting with them. We also created this. We get a lot of questions about the timeline and how to best support students in terms of advising on what to do when, right? Because there is a lot to do, and there's a lot they can do during their undergraduate programs. And so the sooner they know this information, the better. We want them to come in at orientation. We try to meet with as many future teachers at orientation as we can, but we know that's hard because many of you are meeting with them. And so, if you're meeting with students who are in any, in terms of this timeline, this doesn't necessarily always apply the same to every student either. So we try to be very careful about how we advise. But again, the sooner they get any of this information, the better for them. The sooner they know that if they meet, area A2, A3, and B4 with a B- or better, they've met basic skills requirement. The sooner they know about the prereqs and those grade requirements and how they double count for general ed, the sooner they know, what recommended major would be good for them and their interests and their teaching goals. Those are things that, again, the sooner they know it, the better off they'll be and the more they can do planning ahead and be ready when they graduate for the credential program. But this is a general guide you're welcome to use. And again, these slides will be provided to you so you can use this to reference. Lupe, sorry, turning it over to Lupe Garcia. Thank you so much.
So at the center, we actually have two programs to help support our students. We have Titan Future Teachers, and this is a program dedicated to helping students build community with other students who are interested in the teacher pathway. We just welcomed 85 new members this fall. And the whole point is to help build community and professional development. We do have 2 TFT students who are here to speak to you today a little bit about their experience in the program. We also have the Men of Color in Education program. So this program is dedicated specifically to helping Black and Latino men build community where they see little to no representation. The goal of this program is to help them with personal, professional, and academic development. And we host monthly workshops that are culturally relevant to the teaching experience. A little bit of what we do is helping the guys explore what self-love can look like for men of color. I bring Black and Latino therapists to our meetings, Black and Latino educators to talk about their experience and help connect the guys to anyone on campus who's willing to be a mentor to them. And if you don't already, please follow us on social media. Not to brag, but we do a pretty good job of staying up to date. So with that being said, we are going to hear about 2 of our students. So Alina and Iman, if you come up.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Alina Chavez. I am a CAS major with a focus in the elementary. Also, it's right here. And I am going for a credential in multiple subjects. Okay. Hello. I'm going to be speaking about the CCT, TFT, and all of it and how it's helped me. So the CCT has allowed me to make necessary preparations to follow my path on becoming an educator and making sure that it's the best path for me and what I want to do. Because as previously mentioned, there's a lot of paths, but they make sure to individualize that plan to who you are. And I'm incredibly grateful for that. Working with the advisors at the CCT has been beneficial due to a number of reasons, especially making sure that I'm taking the correct classes to get into the credential program. Obviously, to become a teacher, I need a credential. And so one of my big focuses is making sure I can get into that program. And they've allowed me to make sure that my plan is all good and that I can get there when I'm ready, including letting me know, as previously mentioned, the ethnic study course. CAS doesn't require an ethnic study. So I was like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good. And then they were like, pranked, you really need that course. So that was really helpful because otherwise I would be at the end and then be like, well, I need another course. So that was nice. They also helped me meet the basic skill requirement. I hate testing. I will say it as a future teacher, as like my end career goal is to figure out how to assess students in another way than standardized testing. I loathe testing. So having those other opportunities to take classes to meet that requirement in a different way and have the opportunity to be told that was essential to my process in becoming a teacher. And same with the subject matter competency requirement. And when that changed this last summer, which was like in a moment, they were really quick to make sure I knew the information and how that would affect me in my long-term goals. I planned an advisement sheet with my major advisor, who I'm so grateful for, but was still recommended to go and talk to the advisors at the CCT because my major advisor knew how to get me my bachelor's. So I've got that, that's checked. But she was like, just in case, go with them. I'm pretty sure we did everything right, but why not be safe? And so I'm really grateful that my major advisor was willing to work so closely with the CCT, because one of the big reasons I am at Fullerton is because of the unity that the CCT has with my major. I called other schools and asked, do I have to have a certain major to be a teacher? Who do I need to talk to? And they spoke illy of their partnering like teacher program. And I was like, whoa, this is so weird. And when I called Fullerton, they were like, oh no, you can work with the CCT, you can work with CAS. We are like one big family here. And I was like, absolutely, this is where I'm going. So I am here. And the CCT is not only an advising, that's something that's like helped me a lot, but I also take advantage of all of the other things they offer, such as like the physical space they have in the education classroom, having somewhere to go, or I can just do homework or just get a cup of coffee for free. As a college student, I love that. They also tend to have snacks. That's not something they like advertise or they promise. But again, as a college student, I love free food. Hello, I'm here for other reasons as well, I promise. But they also help with being able to print stuff for free. You just have to have paper. I can provide paper. I would much rather provide paper than ink. So that's awesome. And again, I don't like testing, but a lot of my friends are much better at testing than I am. And the CCT provides materials that allow you to prepare for these big, heavy tests. As we saw, some people said it's a lot of testing, and that's true, but the CCT makes sure that you're ready if that's the path you're going down. I'm also in Titan Future Teachers, and I love it. I was a transfer student, and when I came in that first year, it made sure I had a community, I had people I trusted, and I have a friend group now. And as an adult, it's really difficult to make friends. And so TFT was that space to make friends, to have a community, to make sure that I am prepared not only educationally, but also mentally, emotionally, socially to go into this credential program. And I also do not identify as a man, but MCE, have a lot of friends in that program and they're always talking about it and they're always saying how great it is. And we're like, okay, we get it. We can't join as friends. Of course, they're our friends. But if you have any students who fit into that category or into TFT's category, I would definitely recommend sending them that way. Okay, thank you so much for your time and thank you for letting me be here.
Hello everyone, my name is Iman. I wouldn't do better than Alina, but I will tell you my experience. I want to do single subject. I'm a business administration major with concentration in human resource management. I am a transfer student. When I started here, I didn't knew anything about the TFT. Also, I have the goal to be a teacher, but outside the campus, I don't have any support, like of a friend or a family member from culture-wise or from the country I came from. So all that stuff, I just have the dream. There was no like credential fact sheets or anything that I have to fulfill. So, and also my friends, when I tell them that I'm a human resource major and that I want to teach math as a single subject in high school, they were like, it's a little bit like two different things that you want to do. So, but once I found out about TFT, I found out through a friend. She wanted to be a teacher. She was like, I'm going to this teacher future program. So I was like, oh, okay, it seems interesting. So I think this is a place, at least for networking. I didn't know they had advisors that would help me throughout the path. So I started with that. So I went in, I got an advisor. I had a lot of like stuff that I had to fulfill for the credential program. The tastings, every support, even though like I was like it was totally like it feels home. That's what I'm trying to explain. So it's a good place to be there. I have been for the TFT since last fall, since I transferred from the first semester that I was here. They have been, it have been like very supportive program. So also to talk about the TFT more. The TFT does have this like space where you could do studying in there, the CCT center, where you could do, as Alina mentioned, you could have fun. And the most main thing is that networking, because there are some stuff that advisors will give you, but there are some stuff that students go through past that path that you don't know, but that you find out if the students come to the teacher future program. So that would be the best thing that happened for me, I would say. So hopefully this would be good information for you all. Thank you for listening.
A big shout out to Elena and Iman. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being here today. It's a Friday. Students are not usually here on a Friday, so round of applause. Thank you. All right. So going back to the center, the different kind of support that we offer. So it's big for us when other majors refer students to us so we can track our future teachers, right? So providing resource referrals, campus outreach. We are fully staffed right now, which is very nice at the center. So we do have students, we're going to start putting them out in the campus for outreach. Orientation and registration for future teachers. As Heather mentioned, we do hold orientation for students. We know that you all are also holding registration and orientation for your students. We have our own as well. And then if you ever come across a student who's like, maybe I want to do it, maybe I don't, I'm not sure. We do have Adele and EdSec 110 being offered in spring of 2024, which is the teaching experience exploration. It's great for someone who's on the fence about whether or not they want to become a teacher. So CCT support. So we do GE requirements. We do subject matter preparation, recommended majors for future teachers. So again, we don't have any required. Some do make a student's life easier, but none of them are required. Credential program pathways for undergraduates. Some prerequisites meet upper division GEs. So we like to catch those, what I call double count opportunities early on for students. Admission requirements to all CSUF credential programs. And this is not an exhaustive list. There's a lot more, but this is a general that we do. So CCT advising. So we use TitanNet. That's the system that we use. And students can make an appointment within 24 hours, virtual and in person. And we're starting drop-in advising next month, which is, I guess, next week at this point. 5 days a week, various times, including Wednesdays after hours for our students who are maybe non-traditional students. Maybe they work during the days. We are making evening hours available. And then the website will be updated weekly as the hours change and fluctuate, but they will be drop-in Monday through Friday. Ask CCT at fullerton.edu. You can usually get a pretty solid, fast response from our student assistants and our admin assistant. If students have a quick question where it doesn't necessarily require us pulling up their TDA, that's a great place to get your question answered quickly. And then our center phone is answered Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Thank you, Jay Wu. She's usually the one handling the phone calls. Advising resources. So the CCT website, that is one of our resources. We do have a future teacher interest list. So we have bit.ly. If you want to take a photo of that, to refer your students to, they fill it out and they'll receive an email from us about making an appointment. We do have monthly newsletters. Students are always asking for jobs. Where can I find a job? How can I make money? Where can I start getting that experience? Our newsletter is updated monthly by Heather. And I'm always referring students there. A lot of our students have managed to not only land jobs, but land jobs that can help them with their Adele 315 and EdSec 310 course. And then again, a shameless plug for our social media. My MCE guys have started a TikTok account and they are taking reign, they're taking lead. Go follow, they love the attention. And of course, TFT and the CCT as well. And we have a YouTube channel where we post our resources for the center.
All right, thank you so much, Lupe. So I know it's getting close to the end of time and we have a bunch of things we want to give away to those of you that are in person. Sorry, online folks, hard to get you the tickets. Anyway, so I'm going to try to get through this quickly. So save the date, please. November 13th through the 16th is the College of Education Week. And we have some pretty awesome events that this is a time that we are trying to engage you. We're trying to engage our undergraduates, our graduates, our current students, the community. So we have a lot of really great events happening during that time. But Tuesday, 2 dates that I want to specifically call out. Thursday, November 14th. There's a typo. Tuesday, November 14th, we have a Future Teacher Educator Expo that's going to be out in front of Humanities Building. And for the students who come out and engage and kind of learn more about us, we have a process that they have to engage and then they get a little stamp and then they're going to get food. And as Elena mentioned, college students love free food. So encourage your students to come and engage and learn more about the College of Education and our programs. Also, our EICC is going to host a meet and eat. And so where it's going to be current students in the programs, credential and graduate, and then bringing in our undergraduates so they can come in and kind of do like a speed dating kind of experience where they can talk and get to know a little bit more about the different programs more in an intimate environment. And they're providing food, thus the eat part. And then on that evening, the bilingual and biliteracy teacher panel will also be happening both in Zoom and in person, where we have a panel of current and alums who've gone through our bilingual authorization program, So they talk about their experience through the program and being bilingual teachers out there in the field. So it's a pretty awesome. And if you are just interested, I highly recommend tuning in, even if it's on Zoom. It's so, I always want to like, gosh, I need to go learn another language because they're so inspiring. It's just really a neat event. And then Thursday, November 16th, my apologies for that typo. I will fix that before I send this out. We have Dr. Victor Rios. If you've never heard of him, I would encourage you to Google him and watch his TED Talk. He's really awesome. We brought him in and he's going to be speaking. We're going to have it. We think we're going to be ticketing it. I think I'm going to be ticketing it. I coordinate this event. One of those details I'm still figuring out. And then that will be followed by the educational doctorate programs roundtable research symposium. So those 2 dates in particular are really great events for our undergraduates at Cal State Fullerton. All right, recruitment efforts in high need areas. So we mentioned the percentage of Black and Latino men who are teachers, very low number. Obviously, the numbers just in general, regardless of gender, are very high female, white female teachers, which is not consistent with our student populations. So I'm sorry this data is old. I went to the website to get new data. It's still the same data on the website for the educational data partnership. So I guess COVID has slowed everyone down. But anyway, I doubt things have really changed, but it's just, I think, a good visual to realize like why we need to really recruit and retain teachers of color to the field of teaching, so that their students have someone to look up to and look at and see themselves. So as we mentioned earlier, bilingual, well, we mentioned Hooven, who is our Project Propel coordinator. So Project Propel's goal is to assist students who want to be a teacher, but also speak another language. How can they use that? And so Project Propel is teaching them how they can earn a bilingual authorization in addition to their teaching credential. And it's something we need them to get involved with now as an undergrad, freshman, sophomore, junior. There are classes that they can be taking as an undergrad to really prepare and bring their skills up to where they need to be in order to be ready for the bilingual authorization. So if you know someone who wants to teach and you have determined that they learned that they speak another language, usually if I'm looking at the TDA and I see like they did what are those classes, the AP for Spanish or whatever, then I ask them like, do you speak another language? And that's a good segue to say, hey, do you know about this? And oftentimes they have no idea about the bilingual authorization. So anyone that falls in that category, Hooven Romero would be their contact. And the dual language programs in the state are increasing exponentially. So we really want to help promote and get teachers into those roles. And it's going to increase their job prospects too by earning that bilingual authorization. Other high need areas continue to be math, science, special education, and in rural areas and Title I schools. So again, as Amy was saying, we see a lot of students who want to be multiple subject teachers who then add on a foundational level math or foundational level science credential, which allows them to teach up to like 9th grade. And it's so easy to add those on. And we also have a program that funds that entire process for them to add that on. So at this point in time, it's been a 20-year plus program where their courses are covered, their testing is covered, their test materials, there's prep workshops, and we post all of that on our Instagram, and it's also going to be in our newsletter as well. We're curious how you're currently referring students to us. We're glad you're here. So how you can help us is share this information that you've learned today with your colleagues. And there are extra flyers at every table. Feel free to take those to your colleagues and share them with them. I would ask that this document here, that you do keep it within colleagues and not give this to students. This is not you can show it to them. You can have it posted in your office, but it's not really a flyer for them, mostly because one of the ways that you can help us is through the the future teacher note reason in EAB. As soon as you click that, they are on our radar and we send them an email. We only send them really one email just saying, hey, but then they get our newsletter every month after that. We don't spam students. We really are good about not doing that because guess what? Students don't read email. So we send it, we text it out to them, and we send it through email for those that do read email. And again, just keep sending students to us, or start sending them to us if you don't already, please. Here's just a reminder how to go ahead and do that note reason. If you're entering notes under the note reason, it's just future teacher. That is all. At one time, there used to be Center for Careers in Teaching, and I know some folks used to use that, but that was something that we got rid of because it was not helpful. So just use future teacher, save that note, and then we will definitely reach out to that student and make contact. So we want to thank those of you who used the future teacher note reason this year. So the list grew from last year, so thank you very much. Yeah, very, very helpful. Also, we have a few special folks on here that, I mean, now mind you, they have students that are usually in the teacher pathway majors, but I want to say Raymond, Kristen, let's see, Sarah, who has left Cal State Fullerton from the advising piece, and Dr. Seidman. They have just put in notes like crazy. So every single time, even if you think I already put a note on that person, put it again. Like, just keep putting it. We had over, I don't know, it was 5,000 notes. But we had, I think, 4,000 unique students. So that was pretty exciting to see in my data. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Again, we will send out all of this information, and we will see you next year, or probably at other presentations